University of Sindh, Faculty of Education, subject Educational Research. Presentation topic is Longitudinal and Cross-Sectional Studies. My name is Iqra. I am a student of Amjad. My roll number is 11, submitted to Dr. Amjad. Assalamu alaikum. Today my presentation topic is on the basis of time dimension or approach, longitudinal and cross-sectional research or study. Cross-sectionals and longitudinal survey projects can fall into one of two main categories, longitudinal and cross-sectionals. Each one has its strengths and weakness, and which categories is right for you will depend on what kind of data you are collecting and what kind of insight you need to glean from the result. Let's take a look at longitudinal and cross-sectional study and when they work best for business. Now, definition of longitudinal studies. A longitudinal study occurs over many touch points across an extended period of time. They are usually observational in nature. By observational, we mean that there are survey markers are not interfering with the subject or survey respondents. Now, the second point. The most important distinction between the longitudinal and cross-sectional studies for our purpose is the timeline. Instead of the research collecting data from varying subjects in order to study some variables, the same subjects are surveyed multiple times, in some cases over the courses of many years. Now the third point, many medical studies are longitudinal, following the some hundred individuals over the courses of years. Using the same subjects in a longitudinal studies follow for measurable change over a period of time to be collected. While popular of the medical and scientific communities, longitudinal studies can have a big benefits for businesses. With them, you can track and measure the topic as varied as market trends, brand awareness, product feedback, customer satisfactions, employee engagement, and much more. Now the kinds of the longitudinal. There are the three kinds of the longitudinal studies: panel, cohort, and retrospective. A panel study will involve a representative sample of subjects, usually found through a panel service company. In contrast, a cohort study observation subjects that fall in a similar group or demographic based on shared characteristics. This could be include region, age, or common experience. A retroactive study takes advantages of historical data, oftentimes in comparison to update data. Now the cross-sectional studies. A cross-sectional studies that not so distinct cautions to longitudinal is intended to compare the multiple populations groups at a single point in time. Instead of the collecting data over time in a single variables, a cross-sectional is framed, allowing a researcher to see difference amongst population subsets in several categories. An example would be a study on the benefit of jogging. In this study, multiple measurements are taken like resting heart rate, body mass index, and blood pressures. These will be taken all the across groups of varying level of experience. Researchers are not collecting data from the single subject over several years to learn about the effect of jogging, but from many subjects just once. This is often referred to as a snapshot. Now, longitudinal and cross-sectional studies, advantages and disadvantages. The key advantage of longitudinal studies is the ability to show the pattern of variables over time. This is one of the powerful ways in which you come to learn about the causes and effect relationship. Depending on the scope of the study, longitudinal observation can also help to discover the sleeper effects or connections between the different events over a long period of time, events that might otherwise will not be linked. There are, of course, drawbacks of longitudinal studies, panel attribute being one of them. If you are dependent on the same group of 2,000 subjects of studies that take place once a year of 20 years, obviously some of those subjects will not longer be able to participate either due to death, refusal, or even change in contact information address. Change in contact and information addresses that cuts down on the unable data you can draw the conclusion from. Another weakness is that the while longitudinal data is being collected at multiple points, those observations periods are predetermined and connected take into account whatever has happened in between those touch points. A third advantage is the idea of the panel conditioning, where over time responses can often unknowingly change the quality of responses to better fit what they consider to be the observer intent goal. The process of the study itself has changed how the subject or respondent views the question. Cross-sectional studies are not perfect either. Because of the single surveys of nature, they are fit to make the conclusive observations about the direction of any given association between the variables. However, the benefits could not outweigh the narrow scope disadvantages of many business. For the one is a cross-sectional studies are affordable when compared to a similar longitudinal study with fewer touch points, not follow-up. They are also much quicker in reaching an observational conclusion. Also, providing the sample size in carefully chosen cross-sectional study can be helpful in representing entire the population rather than subset. This can be very beneficial when the considered policy changes. Now, the longitudinal studies and cross-sectional studies. Which one is better? Neither really. It all depends on what you need for study business. For your business, the idea behind both longitudinal and cross-sectional study is again to create the best process in order to collect the most useful and actionable data. One of the certainty not better than the others. The both serve a very important purpose in different ways. The deciding factors on which you use many the number of the variables you are trying to study, the amount of time you have before publishing result of expected, your budget, or perhaps most importantly, the nature of the event you are studying. Now, thank you so much.